Why is one of the world's most famous DJs secretly hated?
He's a nepo! He's a fucking nepo!
Nah, he doesn't play with my sets.
So which is it? Skill or nepotism? To answer that, we're going to have to go back to where Fred Again's story really begins. This is the 5 phases of Fred Again.
The year is 1993 and we're in Balham, London. It's April the 1st and Frederick John Philip Gibson has just been born.
And welcome to Phase 1, privilege. I never went to private school, but I know people who did. And it can be top hats and tails, PE was called games, swimming pools, javelin teams, literal prime ministers.
Hello.
Parents would drop 40k a year, and then after all that, they'd still get the same BBB as Bill from the local comp, but with a twist. Alexa, who was Fred Again's dad?
From WWE.com.
Alexa, stop, thanks. Charles Anthony Warnford Gibson is Fred Again's dad, and he was the King's Council barrister. Fred descended from earls, and he also went to one of the most prestigious schools in the UK. And it was here that he found music, drilling classical instruments for hours and hours a day. Having parents of this status gives you the ability to do whatever you want. It's a cheat code to an easier life, and it's certainly the source of Fred's hate. But despite this family edge, his access came from someone else.
You know, when I first worked with Fred, I could see he was brilliant. I started listening to music differently when I watched how Fred was making it. It's very clear he's a very, very sensitive and good artist. And I was very impressed by that.
What happens when your mentor isn't just a teacher, but he's the inventor of a genre? At age 16, the man who literally invented ambient music became Fred's mentor. Eno recognised Fred's approach to music as special and unique. And thanks, Brian, because you've ascended Fred into Phase 2, Access. They met at an a cappella group that Eno ran, and they clicked. That's not a bad cosign. But even with Brian Eno in your corner, can your privilege alone make you this good? This is the LA Memorial Coliseum. It has a capacity of 77,500. Fred announced a gig online that would be happening there within 3 days. He launched the tickets and within 10 minutes they had sold out. If you compare this to another Nepo baby like Matt Healy from the 1975, whose status has degraded over the years, you can see that privilege and access doesn't necessarily equal popularity. This t-shirt was released alongside Fred Again's album 10 Days. It was part of a release with MSCHF. It's dyed with a particular fabric dye that reacts with the sun when exposed. It cost me around £100, so yeah, as t-shirts go, it's pretty expensive. And it sold out within 2 minutes. Pretty impressive. So he's selling out t-shirts within minutes, he's booking up stadiums within 3 days. How on earth does a Nepo baby hold this much power over his audience? And I'm not saying power in a bad way. It's astonishing that he can sell out a stadium this quickly, but how, just how has he done it?
So yeah, I know the whole world is falling in love with Fred. He's like easily one of the most talented musicians on the planet.
This is Phase 3, Celebrity Power. In 2019, Fred Again had involvement in creating 30% of the UK's #1 singles. Yes, he had privilege and a mentor, but he worked hard. Before the fame, he used the opportunity to work for other artists without being famous, often being credited on songs simply as Fred. He's worked with Stormzy, Ed Sheeran, Headie One, Charlie XCX, Skrillex, BTS, George Ezra, Rita Ora, Little Mix, and that's just to name a few. Talent doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It takes hard work to unlock it. He can write, and what I think makes him totally unique as an electronic music producer is that he makes people feel something.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's performance of Fred Again at Alexandra Palace. Photography and recording is strictly prohibited. Performance will begin shortly. Enjoy the show.
Cue Phase 4, Creation.
We've had to lose our space. We've lost the hugs with friends and people we loved. We've lost dancing.
Sound familiar? Well, there's something special about those waveforms because Fred is known for incubating this beautiful community. Songs are made up of voice notes from random people that have impacted him or friends, and he takes a moment in time and turns it into this huge emotion. Like, pull me out of this, and it only gets better with time. It makes his music really relatable, hence for his love and identity as an artist. His lyrics are often subtle nods to the bigger picture, and so rarely does electronic music function in this way. The one thing that's fascinating about him is that he's managed to break through the popular sphere. You can walk into a room and basically everyone will know who he is. And historically, electronic artists have kind of struggled to achieve this specific kind of fame. The greats of electronic music like Orbital or Chemical Brothers, yes, they're well known, but they're still dubbed cool and somewhat unattainable. And if you're not in that cool space, then you can't be here. In a weird way, you can kind of put Fred again and Taylor Swift in the same box, and electronic music hasn't really functioned in this way before. Fred again opens the door for people. He supports emerging artists by booking DJs who have never played in massive stadiums before and then having them in a 30,000 person crowd. He'll collaborate with artists who are less popular or unknown or are just starting out. He's humble. He's a normal guy. You can literally see him on the tube, and his music reflects this as well. He'll sample things on his iPhone. He's not glitzy, he's not glamorous, he wears the same white t-shirt every day. And I think that kind of represents the kind of person he's become with his nepotism. He's that normal guy that you met at a party and then you think, oh, it's Fred. And people think this despite the nepotism. And that brings me to the final stage, the Fred again paradox. It's because he represents both things at once. Undeniable privilege and undeniable talent. People resent the head start, but they also can't ignore the music. Yes, nepotism provided him with a platform. It gave him access. It gave him a network. It gave him people to rely on, and it put his foot in the door in an easier way than it would from someone who wasn't born into his privilege. However, no one chooses where they're born, so maybe the real magic trick isn't his t-shirt. It's the system combined with the talent. So maybe it's the system that should be hated, and the talent should be left alone to be what it is, which is emotional. It's reaching people and communities. It's helping out emerging DJs and helping them thrive. His audience is reactive. If Fred moves, they move. It's like magnets. So nepotism or skill? Maybe we're hating the wrong thing, and that's why nepos always win.